Best-selling author and pastor Kevin Jackson says there are two types of individuals who pray in his book titled The Prayer of Jesus. Pastor Jackson is here with more information. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you here on Midday.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so you've written a book called The Prayer of Jesus. Talk to us a little bit about the development of the book and what inspired you to write the novel, not the novel, but the book.
Yeah, well, people. That's the reason. I want people to know how to pray. And I want them to experience the peace of God that is available to them in prayer. Over the last 15 years, I've had the opportunity to pastor people, just ordinary people. And what I've seen from their experience is a great level of frustration and discouragement in prayer. So I wrote the book to help people overcome those frustrations and experience the peace of God in prayer.
All right, you say that there's 3 hindrances in prayer that you've researched. Or
yes.
Talk about that.
What I've seen is there are 3 hindrances among many, but I think these are the 3 that keep people from praying. One of them is a wandering mind. You know, people have a very a good desire to pray, but when they sit down to pray, their mind begins to run.
Think about everything else.
Yes, in 10 different directions, and that just thwarts their prayer life. So that wandering mind. The second one is the deaf ear. Sometimes when God doesn't give us exactly what we want when we want it, we think that He's not listening. So we have to overcome the idea that God's not listening to us, when in fact He is.
Yeah, sometimes that's an answer right there.
It is. And then the third one is a guilty heart. I think guilt does silly things to us. Guilt makes us hide from God instead of going to God, who absolved our guilt in His Son, Jesus Christ.
Okay, those are definitely right on point, I would say.
Yeah.
And then also you have a blueprint called Peace. So what does that stand for you?
Well, the things that I've distilled in this book, the principles, are how to overcome those 3 frustrations. And peace is easy as holding your hand up, and P-E-A-C-E. P is plan. No one plans to fail, they just fail to plan. And spontaneity is a wonderful thing in prayer, but sometimes we need a plan. Where are we going to go pray, and how long are we going to pray, and what are we going to pray? The E is expect. Expect to meet the Lord there when you go. A, and what I develop in this book, is adopt a method. And the method that I use here is the prayer of Jesus, which is the model prayer in Matthew 6.
The Lord's Prayer. The
Lord's Prayer, yes. And then C is cling to the promises of God. Hold on to these promises of God and trust the promises of God. And then E in the peace is end the cycle of guilt. And the way you do that is that you trust that He loved you, and you trust that He's loved you in His Son, Jesus Christ.
If people are interested in getting your book, purchasing it, how can they learn more and actually buy the book?
Absolutely. Well, there are multiple ways to do that. One of the ways is you can go to our website. I pastor a church in Grenada, Mississippi. It's www.gbcgrenada.org.
Okay.
And you can go there. There's a link. Or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook, and you can follow me there, and you can get resources.
All right. Thanks so much, Pastor Jackson. All of the information that Pastor Jackson just mentioned is right there on your screen. Thank you again. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Coming up, a new